Hey, John, most people think that you can't take money out of your retirement accounts until you're 59 and a half. But that's not always the case. That's going to be our topic today on Friends Talk Financial Planning. I'm Bridget Sullivan Mermel, and I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm John Scherer. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin. And before we start digging into retirement distributions, I want to remind everybody to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, that helps other people find our information on YouTube and helps us rise up in the algorithms. And with that, I'm looking forward to having this discussion. You know, it's interesting, Bridget, that there is a 59 and a half year age rule. Many people know about that. They don't know about the exceptions, and not many financial advisors are telling their clients about this for various reasons. We can get into some of that too, but I think it's gonna be a fun conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that some people are afraid to retire. And so this has got an actual impact on people's lives, this whole dynamic that's going on. So
Yeah.
first, why don't you go over the first big thing that a lot of people don't realize?
Yeah, sure. Let me just dig into some of these rules here, right? So there is, and the 59 and a half rule, maybe just to be clear on what we're talking about, is that if you take money out of your retirement accounts, before you reach age 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty in addition to the taxes on it. So it's this 10% penalty rule before 59 and a half. But there are some exceptions to that rule. And one of the major exceptions that can really make an impact for a lot of our viewers is that if a person retires at age 55 or later, they can take money out of their company retirement plan. So 401k, 403b. They can take money out of that plan starting at age 55, provided they retired after age 55. So between 55 and 59 and a half, that rule doesn't apply to IRAs though. If I've got an IRA, I've got to wait till 59 and a half. If I've got my company's employer plan, like a 401k, I retire at age 55 and a half, I can take the money out of there, no 10% penalty. And that's just a really big one that gets overlooked a lot, I think.
Yeah, and I think people are, again, people don't know about it. And there's a lot of feeling in general, oh, I got to get my money out of my 401k and move it into an IRA. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about that. Where's that coming from?
Well, so I think that's promulgated by a lot of the financial industry. Is most people in our world get paid by having your money underneath their umbrella, right? And so if the money's in your company 401k, then an advisor can't charge you on that or doesn't make any money on that. So they make money by rolling it out into your IRA. And so people get advised, hey, take money out of your plan and put it into your IRA. And that's not to say that that's bad advice. That's the right advice in maybe even most situations. But if you're in this spot where, listen, I might be retiring before I'm 59 and a half, and I might need some of that money that's in my 401k plan, leaving it there is often the best deal, or at least it gives you flexibility, right?
Right.
And I'll share, I know somebody who was working with one of the major brokerage firms, and they were sort of doing it themselves, and they had an advisor that this national brand said, hey, you get free advice from us if you work with us. And I was talking with him. He said, yeah, I got to wait. And when I'm 59 and a half, then I can start doing this. I said, well, golly, you don't need to wait that long. And well, wait a minute. And the people at the major brokerage firm had never told him that, hey, if you leave money in your 401k plan, you can have access to that before you're age 60. He
Okay.
thought he had to work that long,
So quick question for you. What if you quit or stop working when you're 53, keep the 401k and then really retire and want to take money out at 55?
Yeah. So great. Some clarifiers on that is that scenario you described doesn't work. It's not like leave money in my 401k and then when I get to 55, I can take it out. It's
Right.
if I'm 55 or older and I've got money in there in that 401k plan. So I get it. So I have to be 55 or 56 or 57, then leaving the money in. If I'm 53 and I retire, you don't have access to that exception to the rule. Then it probably makes more sense. It's at least more reasonable to say, hey, rolling into an IRA does not eliminate that. It's when you're 55 that you lose the option for that.
Right. Okay. And then the other thing is that I think that I really appreciate your why do people not know about this? The answer to that question is that I think that there's a lot of incentives in the industry to recommend people move their money into the IRA, so much so that it becomes an automatic.
Right.
And there's new rules with the Department of Labor that in our industry that you have to show that it's the right, you have to show that it makes sense. However, um, generally, that's not that hard to do.
Right. And in fair, and I think you're exactly right. Our industry is wired sort of in this way, is
Yeah.
designed to be that. But I want to be objective too, as much as we can, and say, listen, that in many cases, again, maybe most cases, rolling your 401k into an IRA is a very reasonable place. If you're under 55, you don't have the option to do this plan, right? So if you're 35 or 45 or 50, it takes that away. If you're over 59 and a half, you don't need that option anymore, right? So it's this slice. And it might sound like a small amount, but there's a lot of folks anyway that I have talked with over the years where they're in that range. And, even if they don't need the money, we've got a client that's been with us for a long time. They're way older than 59 and a half now. But at the time it was like, listen, we don't think we need this money, but why would we give away that option? Why don't we keep the money in that old 401k? Because I'm retiring at 56. And then if life changes, right, things change more than they stay the same, I've got that safety net, right? I can go access that. And maybe I'll share, and this kind of leads me into one other point that I wanted to make for folks, but I'll tell a personal story on that. Is my wife, Allison, stopped working. She'd worked her entire career at the state of Wisconsin. And when she retired from there, she's got a deferred compensation plan, like a 401k, but with state and local governments, the main plan is called a 457 plan. Like for most purposes, it's like a 401k, like a 403b. You don't need to know the differences, but there is one technical difference, is that for state employees, if you have a 457 deferred comp plan, there is no 10% penalty for early withdrawals, no 59 and a half rule. Right. And again, living in the Madison area here, a lot of state employees here in Madison, you've got the option. If you've got that deferred compensation plan, you can be, my wife's in her early 50s. We don't need that money now. We don't think we're going to do anything with it. But what if things change in our circumstance? I get hit by a truck. Now we need some cash. We've got the flexibility that we can tap into Allison's 457 plan in case of emergency. There's no reason to roll it into an IRA at this stage. Right.
So,
And that's another one of those things that people don't tell you. And again, I'm particularly sensitive being in Madison with the state capital here, that taking money out of your 457, this isn't an age 55 deal. This is at any point in time. Why would you roll it over if the advisors, people aren't thinking about that option? They're really doing a disservice to clients to not be aware of that,
I absolutely agree. And there's another exception too. So let's talk about that third exception.
Yeah, well, the other thing that you can have access to, so it's that age 55. If you're at a company age 55, great. If you got a 457 plan, that little technical difference, a lot of flexibility. There's one option, and you can get it from IRAs or any other places. It's called the substantially equal periodic payments withdrawal method. SEPP is the acronym, of course, the IRS uses for that. And I'll just give you the Reader's Digest version first, Bridget. Is taking money out of that way is very complicated and very rigid, and you can muck it up. Not like it can't be done, and in very rare circumstances, but basically you have to take out an equal amount of money based on actuarial tables for at least 5 years or until you reach 59 and a half. So it does, it can fit a place. Listen, I don't have a company retirement plan. Everything's already in IRAs and I need money at 56 or something like this. So there is a way you can get it out using a series of substantially equal periodic payments. But golly, I don't think I've ever helped anybody do that because of some of the rules are really stringent. And if you break them, there's some pretty big consequences. So usually we try to avoid those things, but it's important to know that it is out there.
And I want to just mention also that there are exceptions. Like, so this gets into like if you have a medical emergency or
Right.
a terrible diagnosis, et cetera, there are exceptions to getting money out of 401ks that you can look into. And again, what you avoid then is the penalty. You don't avoid paying tax on it.
That's right.
Just avoid the penalty. And so if you're in that situation, or even if you think you might be in that situation, look, you want to dig into the rules and find out, okay, can I get the money out without paying this penalty?
You just reminded me of something, Bridget, and thank you for this. Like, this is my discussion, or what I was referring to as, hey, I'm getting to retirement, right? I'm using this money. I don't have to wait until I'm 60, basically, right? There's other options. Medical emergency, there's other places, right? This is not the only thing. This is, hey, getting money for retirement. And I will say that especially at age 55, getting money out, the intention is not, well, geez, I haven't saved enough for retirement. I haven't saved enough to buy my new car, so I need a new car. Geez, I'll take it out of my retirement plan. Like, no, money that's in your retirement plan is designed for retirement. This is not meant to be an easy access just because I didn't take care of my other responsibilities, right? So it's not just, hey, a free pocket of money. It's, I'm going to be retiring. I'm getting in there. I'm in a position to do it and maybe work part-time before I'm age 60. How can I do this effectively? There's ways to do it. And don't think of it as, well, I'll just tap into my retirement plan to take that trip. Like, that's not the intention for at least my discussion on this.
And if you have it, yeah, very good. So I think that's a great time to wrap it up, John. I'm Bridget Sullivan Mermel. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm John Scherer. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin. Both Bridget and I are taking on new clients. We'd love to hear from you if you're interested in talking with us as an advisor. And we're also both members of the Alliance of Comprehensive Planners. If you like what you hear on our show, but you'd like to look for an advisor in your local area, check out acplanners.org.
And please subscribe.